I started now getting those out-of-body experiences, especially at night. I found myself in front of Satan. I was seeing demons now for the first time in real life.
The speaker shares their descent into darkness, beginning with terrifying out-of-body experiences involving pale demons. They introduce a guest from Jinja, Uganda, who served Lucifer for 18 years before breaking free. Despite their father's Christian faith, the speaker was exposed to witchcraft through their powerful grandmother and was initiated at a young age, experiencing astral projection, illness, and supernatural abilities that unsettled their family.
In ranks, now the demons are like the servants, the slaves. Now when they see a human being, it's like they all want to come and touch and see you and me. By then I'm scared, I'm screaming for my life. I don't know if here in Kenya people have heard of rainmakers, like people who, like when somebody is going to have a concert, there are some people they have to consult so that on that day it doesn't rain. So my grandmother was that kind of person who people would consult, because if they were going to stage, let's say, a show in our area and she has not been consulted, that day it would rain.
Click the notification bell to subscribe and stay updated with our latest content.
I'm from Uganda, Jinja. Life growing up was good for me up to a certain point when I started now experiencing spiritual attacks. But I grew up in a Christian family. Right. My dad and mom were born again. The only thing I remember, most of the things I remember about childhood is my dad loved my mom so much. So they really took good care of us until when we started now visiting our relatives. Yeah, that's when I started getting a glimpse of the other side of life, you know. That's when I started now realizing that life is spiritual. Right. My grandmother, the mother to my dad, was a high-level sorcerer, and that was her way of living. She thought that was the family way of surviving, because she was making money out of it. She would get people from different circles of life, politicians, musicians, businessmen, consulting with her, and all that would bring money to the family. So she started now controlling the community because of her powers and influence, and to her that was life, that was a way of living, because she grew up seeing our great-grandparents practicing sorcery, and she also had to buy some powers and to add to what we had in the family. Yeah, so that was her way of living. I don't know if here in Kenya people have heard of rainmakers, like people who like when somebody is going to have a concert, there are some people they have to consult so that on that day it doesn't rain. So my grandmother was that kind of person who people would consult, because if they were going to stage, let's say, a show in our area and she has not been consulted, that day it would rain. So people used to take sacrifices to her. They used to take money, businesses. If a person wanted to have influence in that area, they had to be in good terms with her. Yeah. Wow. So for her, that was the way of living that she knew. And being her only granddaughter, she wanted me to inherit after her. So my dad rebelled against my grandmother when he was about 18, because he got saved that time. And according to my grandmother, my dad was like a prodigal son, because he rejected the family witchcraft. Now she knew very well that my father had an idea of what she was involving herself into, and he never wanted me to be part of it. So because I had to visit her during holidays, she started the process of initiating me from when I was young. So the time I got to know that my grandmother is initiating me into her witchcraft is when she took me to a graveyard. And on that graveyard, she introduced me to the ancestral spirits. Like she started naming the lineage. I'm so and so, daughter of so and so, you know. So I brought my granddaughter so that when I die, you work with her, just like you've worked with me. That time I was 8. So now, that's when it dawned that, hey, grandmother is deep, because I was hearing voices from the grave. And it was at a point where I could not do anything. I was now helpless because she had already been initiating me. So now this opened up my life to astral projection. It means a person getting out of their body and being sent for missions, because we are spirit beings in as much as we are in our bodies. So I started now getting those out of body experiences, especially at night. And as a child, it opened my life up to fear. I was always scared of everything. And it started now affecting my performance, because I used to perform very well in class, but now because of that, I started falling sick all the time. I was very frightened of everything. Then my habits also in class changed to a point that even the teachers were scared of disciplining me. Why? It's because if they punished me in case I did something wrong, I would attack them at night. They would see me and they think they are dreaming. Like, for example, I hit a teacher at night. She beat me in class. I beat her in her sleep. She woke up, the eye was swollen. And you know, there's no way you can explain to another teacher that my eye is swollen because of my student. They'll say you have something against that student. Right. Yeah, so it happened like that. So now, because now teachers were afraid of disciplining me, I was experiencing different changes in my body. I was afraid of things. I would just be in a room and start screaming, and my parents come and I'm telling them some things I was able to see, and they don't understand it, because many Christians don't understand that life, actually not only Christians, but people don't understand that life is spiritual. So she saw me as a threat. Now she's the one who initiated me, and now she had turned me into her enemy. So my life became worse because I was sickly, until when that time when I joined that school, I went for holidays at my auntie's place. My dad has a sister. My auntie is an influential person because she's in the medical sector, and she's also into sorcery. She was working for the enemy, but in the medical sector. And they also wanted me to work and serve in the kingdom of darkness, because that's the way the family was surviving. Me, I was supposed to she wanted to connect me with some big organization so that we promote a certain agenda. I think maybe because this is a public platform, but something to do with homosexuality, LGBT, because that has been in their plan for a long time. So, and my aunt was looking at me. She wanted me to study, and then she would connect me because she had the connections. So now she invited me to spend the first term holidays. I was in my primary 7 at her place. And when I visited her, she introduced me to a world I had never been in, because coming from a Christian family, there are some values that you have at home. Some movies you won't watch, some music you won't listen to, some places you won't go. So my auntie now introduced me to partying. She introduced me to wines and alcohol, because she had everything in her house. She introduced me to that life of partying. And to me, as a youth, that was what I needed, you know, because I had been stressed out through my childhood because of witchcraft. So she would tell me, if you want your parents to allow you come visit me, don't tell them what we do when you come here. And I kept it a secret until when my little brother joined us, and he would say, Dad said that music is bad. Dad said drinking alcohol is bad, I would look at him like a burden, you know, he's coming to tell on me. This musician entered with me, and I found myself in a new world. Like I found myself in front of Satan.
Whoa. I
found now myself in a world. It's a world, a different world altogether, but full of like different activities. Everyone is busy. I was seeing demons now for the first time in real life.
She was introduced to a new lifestyle filled with parties, alcohol, and secular music, which contrasted with their Christian upbringing. Seeking an escape from past trauma related to witchcraft, she embraced this lifestyle. Their aunt kept it a secret from her parents. What was the most terrifying experience she had in the demonic realm? Watch part 2 and do not forget to subscribe and stay updated with our latest content.